Hello everybody, this is Trevor Truck, and today we're playing American Truck Simulator. And as you can see, I am hauling some construction equipment, and this guy next to me is looking pretty impatient, so I'm not going to delay it any longer. We're just going to head out and go before I get in trouble. And we are in the city of Logan. What a name. What a beautiful name. Logan, Utah, I think. Anyway, let's get this done. Let's deliver the cargo. Because, I do kind of want to get paid. I want to bring home that virtual money to spend on virtual things. Virtually. So, we're gonna go ahead. What a town. I like it. It has a certain charm to it. And I like sort of like the mountains and the hills in the background. It's really charming. Really nice. You know what? I might just consider going there on vacation one day. This game can inspire you to visit America, see all 50 states. Looking at it, this is definitely cargo that appears very oversized. I mean, it feels like I barely fit in the lane. And I don't know, it's really hard to drive the truck in third-person view. It's a little bit disorienting, and I think, especially if you're driving with a peripheral wheel. But I enjoy it nonetheless. Look at the scenery here, it's pretty nice today. Beautiful day. And they expect me to deliver this thing on time. But I'll take my time because there's so much to enjoy on the road. Yeah, and that's one thing that I like about this game is that it really captures America, I think, because long time ago, I took a trip across America, and it was like East Coast to West Coast, pretty much, and this cross-country trip, I think, was very important. Actually, it's kind of a cool story. Life-changing in a certain sense. Because, during that trip, this was like in 2005. This was before smartphones. Before the internet became what it is today. We filmed some of the trip, and believe it or not, we didn't do it on a phone. Can you believe that? Can you imagine that? Going on this super grand vacation, but not actually using a phone to record all the events taking place. Could you imagine? But it was 2005. Phones existed, but they were bulky, and the cameras were not so good. If you could even take pictures of them, with them, and so, essentially, on this trip, when we were out in the West, this was the summer. This was like June. And it was so blistering. But the heat out in the West is not so bad. Because it's more like a dry heat. So if anyone watching this is on the East Coast of America, you know what I mean, right? You know how brutal the summers are. The humidity and the mosquitoes and, just how annoying the summer heat can be sometimes. In fact, this summer has just been pretty brutal. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it has been. But regardless, the heat on the West Coast is a little bit different. You see, it's more like a dry heat. And you get used to it. Anyway, I remember driving through all these different cities and towns. Listening to some great music along the way, just being a passenger in the car. I just remember those days and the simplicity of it. I mean, basically, here I was, a kid, having an opportunity that I don't think a lot of people get. Especially under the circumstances, like we drove the entire way from east to west, and a lot of people don't have the patience to drive. They would rather just take a plane, and I understand that. I truly get it. I'm not saying that every single stretch of that trip was interesting, but man, there's some roads, especially the desert roads, they're just so amazing. And those things, those tumbleweeds, yeah, it's not a made-up thing that happens only in cartoons. Tumbleweeds are real. And maybe in this game, we can go to, Arizona, because I know Arizona is a great place to see them. But yeah, that trip defined, well, I'm not gonna say it defined me, that's overly dramatic, but I will say that it was something I'm glad that I did. I feel pretty lucky, pretty blessed to be able to do that. And I think someday I would do it again, even if I couldn't do it with my family, maybe by myself. There's a lot to see. You realize the world is really big, and you're just amazed at all the different ways the world looks. And I'm glad that I took the trip when I did. Because when you're a kid, you are just absolutely astounded. You look at everything with fresh eyes. You see the world. And you realize the world is, there's more to it than just your backyard. There's more to it than just the room where you sit and play games. I mean, you look out and you see the mountains and you see the desert, and you're just absolutely stunned. The one thing that I wish I could recover is the complete memory of that trip. Because, when you get older, your memories start to fade, and that trip, I mean, it's been a long time. That was 2005. And you don't realize how much you forget. here's something really interesting, and this is something I have to give my parents credit for. My parents told me to get a small notebook and keep a journal of the trip. And the sad thing is that I think back then it felt like homework. It's like, Mom and Dad, come on. I do enough of that crap in school. Why do you want me to keep a running journal of a trip that's supposed to be fun? Like, why try to fix something that hasn't been broken? But now, I look back and I realize, oh yeah, there was a reason for it. Because your memories fade. Your memories fade, and one day that life-changing trip is not going to be as clear as it once was. And I know that now, because I don't remember everything. Now, we did film it. We did take pictures. But there's nothing that beats actually being there. There's nothing that beats the experience. And I think that's one thing that sometimes we get so caught up in trying to take pictures and record things that we miss living in the present. Right? I think so many people can relate to that. We don't take the time to just experience it. And trust me, I understand why you want to take pictures. I understand why you want to, memorialize these events. And that brings me back to my parents. When they told me to keep a journal, I thought it was homework. I thought it was unnecessary. I was foolish for thinking that, because it was to preserve the memory of the trip. That's what it was. And I wish, my one regret is that I wish I had paid more attention. I wish that that I wrote down more information, that I kept a better journal. And to be honest, I don't even know where it's at. I don't know where my journal is at. I need to see if I can find it one day. But yeah. And I'm sorry, I got a little bit distracted. I'm supposed to go to the way station. Technically, this makes me a really bad driver, what I'm doing right now, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't think anybody saw. So, here's my advice. I know that right now, due to circumstances that I don't even have to mention, traveling is not easy. But if you get the chance to go somewhere and experience a new place, find a way to not only just experience the moment, but record the moment somehow. Find a way to recall it. Recall as much as you can, because, those memories fade. They fade away eventually. Maybe not completely, but like a lot of details, they disappear. And that's how our brains work. That's what happens when you age. I'm not saying that I'm old. I'm definitely not old, but as someone who is starting to sort of dip their toes into, adult things, yeah, you start to realize that your parents all their complaints about getting older, they ring true, unfortunately. But I'm not saying this to be all depressing. I'm saying this because it's just life. So, one thing that I hope is that I hope any trip that I take, any vacation I take that takes me somewhere new, I hope that I will savor it a lot better than I did when I was a kid. Having said that, I think that's all I have for right now. I'm going to stop recording and cut it here, but I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for spending time on these videos. It means a lot to me, and I make them for you. I partially make them for myself because I like to try, I like to try to make good content. But mostly I make them for anyone who's willing to watch. So, I hope it's been a joy. I hope at least it's helped you to relax a little bit. Oh wow, that's a beautiful mountain range. Anyway, if I record any longer, then this is going to become a major upload event, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. But again, thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, I'll definitely make some more truck videos, because I think they're getting a pretty good response. So, alright, good morning, good night, good evening, whatever time it is.